morning, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done a Saturday show, but I don't mind doing them anymore, especially when I have the right show to do it. And yes, I do have the right show to do it because I'm talking baseball with Mickey Callaway, the former New York Mets manager and now my sidekick here on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. Beginning of a new era, Mick. I'm telling you, a new Saturday show. You and
I
I get
love
to
it.
wake up on Saturdays and talk baseball. Isn't that what you want to do?
Absolutely. Let's do it every day if we can.
Oh, I would if I could. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
when I have the right material like you, I'll definitely do it for sure, man. And I do. I feel you've been a good catch for us all year. Obviously Mickey works with us on Monday night doing 108 Sixers baseball talk. He's done a tremendous job there. Now this is an opportunity for him and I to go out there and do something on our own. And we're going to give you, during this episode, we're going to give you an overview of what the show's about, as well as some of the other things we're going to add to it over the course of a long period of time. Cyberuski and Joshua Dora are in here at New York MLB Talk. Nothing better than this. All right, we got it active in the chat room, Mickey. Early.
Early in the Saturday morning. Way to go, guys.
There we go. Yeah, I can see you are trying to obliterate RW. I guess that's the same statement, Joshua Dora. I don't even think it'll be a fair fight. RW, well, uh, I have no worries. This show is, as far as I'm concerned, is something that people want. And when I have the right co host to do it, it'll be a beautiful thing. What's a show without a little pizza from New York? Don't get me started. I have some leftovers later, Chris, from Little Caesars. I don't even know this was going on. Hell yeah, I'm telling you, Mick, the response is really good. I'm surprised Mickey isn't driving. No, this is Saturday, Joshua.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
this is Saturday. Maybe during Monday night, you probably get that. So, all right, keep it going, guys. You're off to a fantastic start. So we're gonna just give everybody an overview, and then we're gonna get to some of the meat and the potatoes. Okay, Mick. This show's gonna figure will feature your lessons of the week. You don't have to give us one this week. This is what we're gonna do. So your homework every time we come on is you come up with a lesson of the week. Yeah, it may not be real pizza, Chris, but it works down here. I'm a Metro Detroiter, so I breathe you. If you want to send me some real pizza, Chris will give you our address off camera. So, but anyways, getting back to my point, Mickey will come up with a lesson of the week and he will spend a few minutes on how to educate everybody else. Why will he do it? This is what he does for a living. Does pitching lessons. Give everybody an idea what you're doing in terms of your lessons are concerned.
Yeah, so really, I'm just working with the youth around here in the Memphis area. I've got probably about a 60-mile range that I'm traveling to and giving lessons. And it's been really rewarding, for myself. I've really enjoyed it. And I think first and foremost, I think the kids are really loving it. I have, really good response from all the kids I'm working with, and you can see them improve every week, and that's the gratifying part of it. So I'm really loving life out here, and really, really loving working with these young kids.
Well, you've been in the big leagues. I know that has to help your credentials with them. Hey, I've been there before. I know what it takes to get there. And I'm sure that has to help you get clientele when people come over there to you and they say, hey, this guy's been there and done that or anything like that. So, hey, if you've been in the big leagues, I know it definitely enhances your ability to not only get customers, but what else does it do for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's value, obviously, in my track record with pitchers, and then, the tough part is just adjusting to the younger player, right? I'm used to coaching professionals. I coached college a little bit, but these guys, we're talking anywhere from 10 to 17, and I've really been trying to hone my skills in on how to communicate with these young kids and how to deliver the message where it really gets through and how to work with them. So I think it's been fantastic and I've gotten some good feedback. So
All
we'll
right,
keep it.
so MLB Talk is asking Mickey, get some info so we can plug it. Go ahead, give them some information right now so we can plug the
But
lessons.
and if you're in the Memphis area or want to travel to come see me, feel free to do that. You can give me a follow on Facebook. You can find me under Mickey Callaway. There's going to be a picture of Sage Ranch on there as my Facebook page. Shoot me a message, and we'll get some lessons going. I'm really excited to work with all ages, and would love to have you here if you want to improve on pitching and gain some velocity and gain some accuracy. Then come out and see me.
So Sage Ranch there, look it up there, New York MLB Talk on Facebook, and that should lead you where you need to go. Glad you brought up. So another thing we're going to be doing is we'll be bringing on guests. I know your intent is to bring some of your former players on. I have some people I'm going to bring on. And another guy that'll be starting in a few weeks is Eric Katz. You know, everybody knows that Eric Katz is a sharp young baseball mind. He's on 108 stitches with us, and Eric is just a dynamo. He really, truly is. And when the three of us come on, you know one thing: he's a little. This guy's got a lot of. What do I want to say? Moxie is what he does. But
he does. I love hearing him talk about baseball. He's obviously very knowledgeable and what's going on and the history. You know, for as young as he is, he knows a lot of the history of baseball. Probably been around you quite a bit, Scott, with all your history that you bring up, which is what we all love. That's for sure.
Well, he views me as like a mentor to him. I've been in the business for over 4 decades, so. But mentoring a young guy like him, it's great, especially when they get it. This kid has got so much knowledge, and he's got a snappy personality. Is what he does, and that's the thing that's about him. That's just really cool stuff. So again, we're going to talk about. I'll be bringing on. That's okay. You there?
Hold on, Scott. I'm not hearing you.
All right. Well, I know everybody else is. All right. Is that better?
Scott, I can't hear you.
Yeah. I mean, we're here, so. Mickey, can you hear me?
I'll do a station break right now.
Well,
Yeah.
I can hear Candy. I can't hear Scott.
All right. Well, Candy will do a station break, and then we'll go ahead and see if we get these technical problems figured out.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, or one of the hosts, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. Talks about Scott's 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved. Get your copy today. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. Check it out. If you listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us, and then turn on the notifications so you're notified whenever we go on. If you want to advertise or sponsor any of our shows, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to the program.
All right, Mickey, can you hear me now? Now he's freezing. I'll tell you, those log cabins look pretty nice all out there, don't they?
They sure do. Mickey's having a little bit of technical difficulties while he's getting those figured out. Yeah, the background looks really pretty cool, Scott, doesn't it? Just a place you'd want to visit.
Oh, yeah, and that logo looks really good. So all right, Mickey's
there we go. Yeah, I can hear you again, Scott. There we go.
All right, no problem. That's okay. Things happen. Business is what it is. So, anyways, Mickey, as I was going back, we'll talk about bringing on guests. You have a bunch of players that you're looking to bring on as this thing grows. And our goal here is after today is provide some audio providers as well. Right now, everybody can hear it on Facebook. They're going to get it on Twitter and especially YouTube. So he's asking what type of players are we going to bring on? You know what, Mickey, that's a good question by Cyberuski. You have any people in mind that you want to mention?
Yeah, I'd love to just bring on some of my ex-pitchers and maybe some of the ex-Mets guys, try to get them on here and just talk about what they're doing lately and get their takes on some of the subjects that we'll be talking about. Maybe I can talk some of my pitchers into giving some tips, like I'm going to do just for the fans so they can see maybe their grips that they used or what made them tick. I think just having deep conversations with players on how they approach the game mentally, physically, and in all aspects, I think that'd be great for fans to hear. So I'm really excited about it. I think we're going to be able to get hopefully one guest a week and kind of go from there. I've obviously coached quite a few players, and would love to have them on here and get to chit chat with them from time to time.
Well, Josh Adore, I like this one. Can you bring on Josh Beckett?
I don't know Josh personally, but we can try to track him down for sure. I've got a lot of connections, so hopefully we can get some numbers of some people and just shoot out some invites and see what we get.
There you go, Josh. If anybody has the connections, it's this guy. So, yeah, and I have a bunch of people I do too. I'd love to be able to get Josh Beckett on. I think he'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
He was a clutch pitcher too, especially
yes, he was.
Miami Marlins at Florida Marlins. I think he played for when they won the World Series.
Won the World Series, yeah. He threw some really good games in that playoffs that year.
Yeah,
really
didn't
good.
he? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, talk about a guy that's poised for greatness. Josh Beckett, to me, was a money player if I ever saw one. And I know the Marlins have started this Marlins Hall of Fame and legends and all that, so don't be surprised if his name enters that pretty soon. I think Luis Castillo will be the next one. The first two that were in there were Jim Leland and Jack McKeon. So what we're also going to do is it's a great segue for what you're talking about. On 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, we talk about every aspect of the game. But what will make the show a bit different from that is we are going to talk a lot more pitching because that's your forte anyhow. There's a lot of things that we'll do that we can carry over from what 108 Stitches, but the one thing that'll separate it is the fact that there will be a heavy emphasis on pitching. You're doing pitching lessons. You pitched. Why not let you go ahead and roll with that? And that's so, right. So you were asking me, can we talk more pitching? I said, yeah, Mick, I think we can. I don't know how much I can really throw on the other one, except maybe throw in an occasional thing here and there. But when we get your situation going, we'll make that as part of the premise of what we're looking to get accomplished. And now I'll roll in some interesting stats in here that'll say, wow, that kind of stuff. So, our Joshua Dorsey, do you see Orioles? Colby Mayo had Florida Panthers shoes.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either. Wow.
Yeah. Is he from Florida originally, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. Josh, give us a little bit of background about this guy, but we're talking about it. Colby Mayo. I mean, if he's from this neck of the woods and the Panthers are jams, I can see why he would definitely go to that. I think they're having Players Week where they can pretty much put anything they want on their cleats. And if I'm not mistaken, Joshua Dore, I think that's probably where you're getting that reference. If so, then
absolutely
more power to him. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure he'll follow up. He's paying attention. He's very active today on this show for good reasons. Candy, you want to add something to that?
Actually, Colby Mayer was born in December of 2001 in Coral Springs, Florida.
Nice.
Well, there you go. There's a connection right there.
He's ready for football season, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But no, Candy, thanks for clarifying that. That was really good. Colby Mayo being in Coral Springs, Florida. So as we continue on, we're going to also talk about in-season key injuries and series that we're going to talk about, Mickey. So again, this is one of those things that in a few weeks, I'll mention a couple series that could be a part of the pennant race.
Mickey's having some technical difficulties right now, so he couldn't hear you again, so he's going to log back out. We love technology when it works, but when it doesn't work, this is what happens. So you kind of got to fly with it and go with it. He's trying to log back in, I believe.
That's okay.
There we are.
I'm sure we'll get these bugs worked out with round two.
You know what's happened? I've had 2 phone calls, and then when somebody calls me and I hang and I decline it, I can't hear you anymore for some reason.
Is that right?
It's interesting. That's interesting.
Okay. Well, everybody,
we'll get that worked out for sure.
No, that's okay. No problem. So, all right, we'll get back to Colby Mayo. Then we'll talk about. So, yeah, there's a local connection. He is in Coral Springs, Florida, which I happen to be a member of the Coral Springs Chamber of Commerce, by the way.
Oh,
so
nice.
I can understand where the Florida Panthers connection would definitely go out there as well. He says, I love 108 stitches, but MLB Talk says, I love 108 stitches baseball. I appreciate you having me on. All year, we'll always welcome. I'll tell you one thing about Rob Morosco and Chris Pizza. These two guys are staples, and you're going to get on both of these guys on any given week. You talk about some great additions to this program. Those two guys run a great operation over there for sure. So
Awesome.
But anyway, so that's what the Colby mail. Thanks, Candy, for clarifying. All right, back to what I said. In-season key series and players to watch. What I'll do is over the weekend, what we're going to do is I'm going to isolate a couple important games and series, and when, especially when Eric gets on, and we'll be able to look at 2 or 3 that can be impactful. That will all be fit into part of the program as well. So
awesome.
It gives you.
Yeah.
We don't have the time to do that. 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, Mickey. But the reason why we don't is because it's a magazine show.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about 60 minutes, right? That's what you're looking at. And for us, in this particular situation, we can do a little bit more of that updated. And the weekend series get more and more interesting as we wind down over the last 6 weeks or so. Yeah. So Chris has a question. Are pitchers from the lower levels taught how to throw more than learning to pitch? All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I think that it's kind of been going that way, Chris. You know, one of the things that people are really valuing over being able to command the zone is velocity, right? Everybody's trying to throw 96 to 100. Now you're seeing 105 sometimes. So yeah, I think it's kind of gone in that direction. You know, the thing that we all need to understand is, you know, setting hitters up and being able to pitch in and out and hitting all your quadrants and things like that are very important to having success at the major league level. And, you know, I think right now we're just valuing velocity over the ability to really execute pitches. I've got some great stories of some kids that I coached in the minor leagues that, you know, we taught them how to pitch a little bit, and they end up pitching in the big leagues for quite a long time, even though they didn't, you know, throw 100 or 95. So, you know, I'd like to see everybody kind of get back to let's learning how to pitch. You know, the one thing, you know, I think that is out there that's reinforcing this is right now there's not a major league team hitting over 260 as a team. So, you know, that's really, you know, kind of reinforcing this velocity over ability to pitch, which I can understand to a degree. But for me, it kind of takes away from the game. Is it exciting to see, you know, guys throwing 105, 102? It absolutely is. But if you can't throw with that velocity, we got to learn how to pitch, you know, and give guys more opportunity to get up there and have, you know, a little bit of a decent career. You know, guys that throw 92, 93, you know, in the low 90s that have some command and can really get the ball over the plate and get the ball where they want to.
Great question. Great answer. Okay. On 108 Stitches, we approach this. Now we're going to approach it again for those that didn't see that episode. Edwin Rodriguez threw 149 pitch no-hitter. Tell everybody what you said on the first show about this and the fact that this looks like it'll lead to more combined no-hitters. Edwin Rodriguez is a different animal. He's been around for a while, but once again, refresh your thoughts on that.
Yeah. You know, taking a guy out to 149 pitches with the way we're developing pitchers these days, you know, are always staying, especially in the minor leagues. You know, if you're at A ball or maybe even double A, they're keeping you around 85, 90 pitches per outing. They get you out after 5 or 6 innings. You know, if you go 6, it's kind of amazing. And they're really trying to preserve arms the best they can. I'm not sure it's the best development method. Personally, you know, we did a lot of research on this when I was in Cleveland, and all the guys that pitched 15 years in the big leagues and threw 200 innings a year, when they were in the minor leagues, they were hauling a lot of innings, throwing 185 innings their first year in pro ball, things like that, and they end up lasting. So, you know, I'm not sure if we're developing guys that aren't going to be able to pitch late in the game, but you're just not going to see guys throwing 120, 130 pitches anymore. You're going to be taking them out after 85, 90 and trying to get in that bullpen. They have this philosophy now of let's get to that bullpen as early as possible and give the hitters a different look. So they're not, facing that major league starter the third time through where historically they've done a little bit better. Pushing a guy out to 149 pitches is kind of risky. We've seen guys get hurt trying to get no hitters, and guys that got no hitters get hurt. So they're really trying to protect these pitchers with all they can. Because they're paying them a ton of money, and they should protect them a little bit. But I'd like to see us develop pitchers to pitch more. At least 6-7 innings. Let's get 6 and 7 innings out of those starters so we can take some pressure off some of our bullpen, and you don't have to rely on 5 guys being on their game that night to win a game.
I agree. Well, if we're up to me being an old school guy, though, Mickey, I'd like to see him get 7 or 8 and maybe throw a complete game in once in a while.
I would love it. That's
right.
right.
And don't worry, I got a topic in here that's going to lead right into that. So, but with that said, it'd be great down the line as we get this thing up and running. Have you ever been to Wake Forest University before?
I have not. No.
You and I need to do, because I was there a few years ago and I saw their pitching lab was unbelievable. You and I could do a show right in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I have contacts up there, and if you saw what their pitching lab was like, Mickey, you would absolutely
really.
Oh,
yeah, I'd love to get up there and check that out.
Yeah, we will. We'll see if we can work it as time goes on, and our goal is to get sponsors for it so that we can do these sort of projects as time goes on. Obviously, it's our first act, but we have a lot of things that we can convince people to do if indeed they're sold on what we're doing. And I got news for you. With you as my analyst and me with all these years, there was no way we're going to lose.
I love it.
But that's a trip I'd like to see us take. All right, staying to the pitching thing, Paul Skeens couldn't even get a win when the National League had a 6-0 lead in the All-Star game. Obviously, Skeens is in a tough situation. Wouldn't you have liked to have seen him? He had a 6-0 lead, by the way, in the All-Star game. He couldn't even get a win. The American League came back and he ended up with a no decision. But the guy got 6 runs. 6 runs and couldn't even get a win with the best player in baseball. What do you think about Paul Skeens? If he had any luck, it'd be no luck at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you're seeing such a generational talent with no run support. We've seen it from time to time, especially on those kind of teams. I remember Corey Kluber winning Cy Youngs and having trouble getting some run support. Obviously, Jacob deGrom, when he was winning Cy Youngs, was not getting a ton of run support with the Mets during that period. But Paul Skeens is obviously, probably the 1 or 2 best pitcher in all of baseball. I like Scooble quite a bit as well. But, you want to see that guy go out there and get some runs. I know it turns into a story. Hopefully, he can win a Cy Young with just a few wins, and then that would be something kind of special to see.
Well, he is a generational player. I guess the wonder is how long losing can he take, whether he want to resign with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, let's face the reality. The Pirates have been irrelevant. I know they're probably hovering up near the under 500 mark near their all-time, and it's too bad because they're a historical franchise.
Yeah.
Under the current ownership and them not spending any money, that's just unfortunate. So here's I had Tom Gage, Hall of Fame sports writer, on Thursday night for Sports Wrap. And just to give you a little bit of information about Tom, he is in a Hall of Fame and wing under the sports writers, and you talk about an iconic writer, Tommy is that. But we got into Tarik Skubal. So my question to you is this: will the Detroit Tigers drop the bag on Tarik Skubal? He's looking at $400 million. Tommy had his thoughts. I want to get your opinion. Now let me just I'll ask you that, then I have another follow-up question with that.
Yeah, I think that they have to, right? He's their ace. He's probably one of the best, probably is the best pitcher in baseball. Him and Skeens, I'd put those two right up there. And they have such good young players over there in Detroit. And I know they're they're trying to win and do their fans a favor and put a World Series championship in that trophy case. So I think they got to sign him. Even if you have to spend quite a bit of money, like 400 million, you got to do it and go for it when you can. These guys don't come around often. He's going to be one of the best pitchers in Tigers history. You got to lock this kind of guy up and try to keep him a Tiger for the rest of his life.
The only thing they have working against him is Scott Boras is going to demand a lot of money. So he's going to get that 400 million. He's competing. You're looking at the Mets, the Yankees, Dodgers, at least competing for his services and 400 million. You're talking Chris Ilitch. Nothing against Chris Ilitch, but Mike Ilitch is the guy that spent the money. Chris Ilitch is certainly going to want the bottom line, but this is going to be a make or break decision for the franchise for sure. So let's talk about Skubal in more detail because he actually throws the best Maddox in MLB history. I'm referring to a complete game shutout by a pitcher with fewer than 100 pitches thrown against Cleveland. Skubal had the most Ks at 13 at a Maddox in MLB history. Detroit ended up winning the game 5-0. It was a 2-hit shutouts against no walks. What are your thoughts about that performance by Skubal?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you see a guy, then they're going out there and they're punching out 10 plus and not walking anybody. That's pretty special. I've seen Corey Kluber do it quite a few times when I was in the dugout with Corey, and you're just kind of sitting there in amazement, like these guys are just unreal. Facing major league hitters and to be able to do that with swing and miss stuff and the command is absolutely tremendous. So, what a great game. Probably one of the best games in the history that the Tigers have ever thrown.
So let's give a shout out to the Milwaukee Brewers. This team has won 13 straight games. And Candy and I were having a little conversation about it. You want to be playing your best baseball now? I said, Candy, come on the line, Candy, for a moment, please. I want to get her opinion on this. We're talking about the Brewers in this situation. Put your face in there, too. And I always said you got to play your best baseball all year round. Don't let off the gas. You have a great manager in Pat Murphy, but this team is looking awfully good. Stay on that roll and keep doing what you're doing. So, Candy, tell me what you said, and then Skip will chime in.
Well, I was saying that it's great to be playing good baseball, but 13 in a row is great. But you really want to be hot normally in September, the end of September, going into the playoffs. And I'm not saying that they won't be, but to have such a hot streak now doesn't necessarily concern me. It's exciting, and it's exciting for the fans because if you don't know, George Webb, which is a local chain up in Milwaukee, they have 23 locations are giving away free hamburgers because they won 12 in a row. So now they won their 13th in a row, which is just great. But my concern is that really I want to see them hot the end of September. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Candy, this is not a bad time to be hot. Obviously, like you said, you always want to be hot towards the end of September. I do like that there's still quite a bit of time left between now and September. Even if they hit a little bit of a lull, they have time to kind of snap out of it and start playing a really good ball in September. The one thing that kind of stands out to me when I was with Cleveland, we won 22 in a row. Like, think about that. That's 3 weeks you don't lose a game. It was amazing. The thing I really noticed about that streak, and I'm sure the Brewers are noticing it, is you seem more rested at this period of time. Right now, it's supposed to be a grind for everybody. This is the time of year where you start grinding out the season. It's getting long, and then you hit your second wind in September because you have to, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, this little winning streak for them is stress-free baseball. They're just playing and loving life. I was listening to MLB radio yesterday, and I heard one of the players talking about it's not even about the way we're playing. It's because we are all such great friends. We just go out there and have such a good time, right? So they're relaxed. This is not the dog days of summer beating down on them. They're just going out there playing good baseball, and I think this is good timing. Maybe they hit a little bit of a lull early September, and then they can get rolling again late September. So I think they're poised to do something really special, and hopefully they can keep it up and really play well throughout the playoffs, because we always want the underdogs to win. These small market teams, with especially since teams are paying $70 million for players. We want one of these small payroll teams to go up and win the World Series, and that seems really special in Major League Baseball to me.
Well, and I think they have a little extra something special this year. I mean, unfortunately, we all know Bob Uecker passed away over the off season, and so they're wearing patches for him, and they say that he's like an angel in their outfield right now.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that. I love the fact that you said, because I've heard that too, that they're all friends and that they're having fun. And I think sometimes we forget that. And like you said, the dog days of summer and you're like in the grind, but to have fun and to be playing and laughing with each other, I think that makes you more relaxed and that helps you a lot.
Without a doubt.
Well, so here, let me throw another stat your way, which is another reason why the Brewers are looking awfully good. The Milwaukee Brewers, since July 7th, have 7 series sweeps. I said 7 series sweeps, Mickey, and 4 total losses.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Obviously they believe in themselves. They have a great team. They play together the right way. Their manager's doing a great job. Pat Murphy is pulling all the right strings, but the players are going out there relaxed and playing baseball. When you start playing that type of baseball where you're just dominating, then you are super relaxed to the core. The whole team, nobody's complaining about playing time. Everybody's on the bus and heading in the right direction, in the same direction, and pulling for each other. And that's a wonderful thing. This is what championship teams do, and they're on their way to making a good run, I believe.
I mean, in my opinion, that stat doesn't seem real, but unfortunately,
that's crazy.
It just doesn't. Yeah. I mean, you can't make these numbers up. Let's go back to the chat room. DeGrom, he had better hitters than the Pirates, for sure he did.
Yeah, he did.
And, of course, Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies was having one of the best seasons and leading in WAR for pitchers at 6.0. Down the road, you're going to have to educate me on this WAR thing, Skip, because I'm not big into that stuff. But that's something you're going to work with me on, like I'm breaking you into the microphone ranks. Okay, but all right. So you talk about timing. Okay. Our show comes on today, August 16th. So what am I going to do with you? I'm going to hit you with some history, like I have been. At least you can't say I'm never consistent with you, right?
That's right.
So here, I'll tell you.
Let's hear it.
So I'm ready to give it to you, man. Because I'm not bringing this up on Monday, because now I got the luxury of Saturday. So I don't have to bring everything up on Monday that comes across here. Only something makes sense is timely. That's the luxury of having 2 baseball shows, one with you and I. And, it's our show, you and me. That's it. And then everybody else comes along, they come along. That's all good. But on this date, August 16th, 1948, Babe Ruth died. He was a 7-time World Series champ, 12-time All-American League home run leader, 6-time AL RBI leader. Get this, he was voted 95.1% in 1936 in the Hall of Fame. So he got 95.1%. He played for the Boston Red Sox for 5 years, and that is actually in their Hall of Fame. We know about the Yankees. He was there from 1920 to 1934. But get this, he finished his career with the Boston Braves in 1934. So we have a little bookend of Boston in between the Yankees. That's what intrigued me about the whole thing. But just so you know, for those fans that are looking to find out and catch up with the Babe, he's buried at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery, which is in Hawthorne. I believe it's Hawthorne County or Westchester County, something in the greater New York area. I'm sure you know where that area is at.
Yeah.
But the Gate of Heaven Cemetery. So Babe Ruth on this date in 1948 passed away. I believe he died of esophageal cancer as well. So can you believe that? Our opening show happens to be on an anniversary that the Babe went ahead and passed away.
But the greatest player that ever lived. I don't think anybody's ever going to surpass the Babe. He's just, it's the name. He's just going to be the iconic Michael Jordan of baseball forever.
Well, we disagree on that one, man. I'm going to go Ty Cobb, but rightfully so.
Are you?
Yeah, I have to. Come on, get real. Really, seriously, really, I can tell you that. Ty Cobb, and I'll tell you what, I'll be bringing in Ty Cobb's records when we go on 108 Stitches. But the reason why I brought in Babe is number one, the anniversary is on today's date. And he does have a pitching because he did pitch 1 year, won an ERA title, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, you know,
No
he
doubt.
was a good pitcher. So, no, I'm going Ty Cobb. If you go out there and look at the Hall of Fame numbers, I think Ty Cobb had more votes than Babe Ruth, but who's going to sit there and complain? They're both great players, and they made their name in baseball history for sure. So,
No
but
doubt.
just so happens today is the anniversary of Babe Ruth's death, died at the age of 54. His wife clearly actually lived from, I believe, 1900 to 1976. So he's a great story for sure. Lots of Mets conversation. We appreciate the involvement in the chat room. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Scott,
again-
you might be able to answer this, Scott.
Sure.
I've heard this stat before, and tell me if this is true.
Okay.
Babe Ruth hit more home runs in one season than the rest of the league combined. Is that accurate? Maybe Candy can look that up for us.
Yeah, you know, I
But,
think
that's an
our crack
amazing
status.
stat.
Well, that's right. I'll tell you, Candy's in the background, but she's our crack statistician. Now you got me curious about that one.
If that's true, you got to take him over Ty Cobb. I mean, come on.
Well, I'm not
You're
taking
hitting
him over
more
Ty
home-
Cobb. Hey, listen, you're entitled to put those stats up there, but let me tell you something. Ty Cobb there, you look at his numbers. I'll tell you what, you're steadfast with Ruth, and I understand, but I'm going Cobb, man. I'm going to give you a little history lesson on Ty Cobb one of these times, but I'm okay. Listen, there's no crime in us having opposing views on this stuff. I mean, because if you're going to pick one or the other, you're not going to make a bad choice.
That's right. All right. Next time we get together, you go ahead and get Ty Cobb's stats together. I'll get Babe Ruth's stats together, and we'll have a full-on debate about it in our next show or one of the shows soon.
I don't know. Now you got me curious about doing it on this show.
Let's
I'll
do
think
it.
about that. Yeah, we'll want more leeway on this. Well, now look at this, Chris. You just started something here. Now Chris is saying, how about Willie Mays over Ty Cobb?
Ooh.
Willie Mays is a heck of a player, though.
So Chris, we what do you think about the Babe? Is he the best player that's ever been?
He's right up there with. Okay, come on, Chris.
Willie was right up there with Cobb, huh? Yeah, I mean, you always gotta talk about Willie Mays when we talk about the best players in history for sure.
That's right. Chris is making his he said Babe is number one, so now I'm out number 2 on. I know Candy's looking it up. If we don't get it in the next 10 minutes, well, it'll be like that old soap opera thing. It'll be called
There's Chris. There's Chris right there. Babe is number 1.
Well, what do you want? He's a Yankees guy.
So
Oh, here's Candy. Here we go.
I can tell you, Babe in several seasons did indeed hit more home runs than the entire Major League Baseball teams, not all as a collective, but as most of the different teams. For example, in
Gotcha. Okay.
he hit 54 home runs, surpassing every other team in the American League and all but one in the National League. From 26 to 32, he out-homered the Washington Senators 343 to 327. Also out-homered 90 teams throughout his career, including 4 ties.
Wow. There you have it, Scott.
That doesn't mean that I'm going the other way. Just because you got the number you wanted and we didn't have to wait for it doesn't mean that I'm riding on your bandwagon. I'm a Cobb guy, especially when you get me to definitely do a little bit more work about coming up with a Cobb number. Let's face the reality. You're going to stick to Ruth. I'm going to stick to Cobb. The only thing I'm going to tell you the next time is I'll have a few more stats to see if you can handle these stats. And even if I get you to understand my position better, that might be a moral victory.
I'll have to say this. I'll give you this. The Cobb movie was better than the Babe Ruth movie. Tommy Lee Jones did a much better job. That was a great movie. I loved watching Cobb. That was one of the best baseball movies out there.
Let me tell you something. I can't wait to get out to the ranch with you anyways, man. You and I and Candy. and start shooting some videos out there
Oh, I'd
and
love
doing
it.
some
That would be
stuff.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my Honda Bull Cruiser that I'm ready to get up there right now. I'm chomping at the bit to drive it, but I'm having some problems with headaches. But I'll be out there before long. What do you got,
So
Candy?
I will give you this, Scott. Cobb has won more batting titles than any other player in MLB. And during his 24-year career, he hit 300 in a record 23 consecutive seasons, with the exception being his rookie season.
Top
Wow.
that. Top that.
He hit
That's pretty
400
good.
in 3 different seasons, a record he shares with 3 other people.
Wait, say that
Whoa.
last one again,
That's
Candy.
crazy.
I said he also hit 400 in 3 different seasons, a record he shares with 3 other people.
I'll give you some stolen bases.
Let's see.
Now you're getting
He
in
also
trouble,
holds-
Mickey.
He also holds the career record for stealing home 54 times and for stealing
Whoa.
second base, third base, and home in succession 4 times.
What? That's crazy.
I
love
know. That's why you're wrong.
it.
Now
Yeah,
you
those are
want to know.
great stats. Those are awesome stats for sure.
Ruth,
Yep,
let me
exactly.
tell you, Ruth is good about pointing these home runs about the kids. I'm going to hit it over the right field and delivering. But let me tell you one thing about Ty Cobb. He's a sharpen his spikes and take players out. This guy was ruthless. You ever been to the
He was.
museum? That's another thing we have to go by there. So take those numbers. I'll have more of them, but Candy, thanks for putting those out there. We got to make this situation fair. And right now, before you came up with those stats, I still wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid on Ruth. Now, I'm not going to. Now, I will say this: when I went to Cooperstown, I did buy Hydrostone statues of Ruth and Cobb because I know that one of these days they'll be worth a little bit of money. I got one of Mattingly. I got one of, let's see, I got one of Mattingly, DiMaggio, Mantle. So I got some of those things sitting here in my place. But Ruth, I mean, I'll tell you one thing: Yankee memorabilia certainly is worth more money than Tiger memorabilia. I would give you that much.
Yeah, no doubt.
But, so let me ask you, what do you think of those 3 stats that she just hit you with Cobb?
Those are pretty good. Those are pretty impressive.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I think I'll give him probably number 2 behind the Babe.
Yeah, no, we knew you were we knew you weren't changing anyways. It's just figured I needed a little bit of meat. That's okay though, Skip. You don't have to change. I'm not changing, but I'll tell you, if it makes good conversation, keeps the chat room going, I'm good with that. It's okay.
That's right.
I mean, Babe Ruth hit a lot of home runs. I still think that Barry Bonds' home run record deserves an asterisk, and I still recognize Hank Aaron as the all-time home run king.
Yeah, me too. I tell you what, did you see the stats Chris just flashed across the chat room there? Look at this.
Let's go ahead. Let's put them up. Cobb was great, but Ruth made baseball what it is. Okay, let's put them up.
24 times All-Star batting title, 12. Oof. I love it.
Keep them rolling, Ken.
660 homers. Willie Mays. Whoa. Look at those stats. Amazing.
Yeah, well, these numbers are really good. Say hey, kid.
Yeah. I mean, you're just not going to see numbers like these anymore in this game the way it's going.
No, that's true. That's why you have to appreciate the legends of the game as you
Absolutely. No doubt.
But I'm going to tell you, everybody, this is what you're going to get with us every show. We're going to come up with all kinds of stuff. And Skip and I have already agreed it's okay for us to agree to disagree, and we can have fun with it. We have the best statistician on the planet behind us to pick up these numbers at the last minute, but there'll be more to it than this. I'll be curious to see what you come up with in terms of lessons as we engage the audience and some of the guests that we're going to bring on, as well as monitoring what's going on down the stretch. And even during the off season, depending on how many times we come on, it could be twice a month during the off season. We don't know yet, especially when the holidays kick in. We're going to make it real anyhow. We want somebody to know that you have myself and a manager who's been behind, who knows exactly what it takes in situations. This is one of those shows that's going to be very, 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 very wide open. I will be looking for topics to challenge my manager
Perfect.
every single week. And I'm glad that we had a great deal of activity in today's chat room here on Saturday morning. But rest in peace, babe. You got a lot more airtime than I initially thought when I brought it up. Now you got me in a debate with my manager about Cobb. And again, that's been a debate going on way longer than it was when you and I just started talking about it today.
Yeah, no doubt. I
So,
love it.
with that said, that does conclude our initial act here on Talking Baseball. My name is Scott Morganroth, Motor City Manmouth. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, Mickey Callaway. Our next show will be in a few weeks as we wait a few weeks and try to gain some audio providers that will be able to take it that way. And then we'll be on a regular schedule after that. But meanwhile, Mickey is my right-hand man on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, which is heard on Monday at 8:30 Eastern Time. So give us some updates about what's going on over at the Ranch Candy and over the final station break.
Yeah, so right now I'm trying to get this place really up and running. I'm going to build a pitching lab here. I really would like to get out there and see that Wake Forest one because I want to build a pitching lab here and have kids fly in from all over the country, spend a week with me, and really teach them the ins and outs of pitching. So I'm really excited to get that going. And in the meantime, I'll be teaching lessons at different facilities in the Memphis area. So please reach out, find my Facebook page, Mickey Callaway on Facebook, and we'll go from there. One thing I wanted to mention, Scott, is I'd love to have some of my ex-coaches. I got Chili Davis, Gary DiSarcina, Jim Riggleman, Dave Island. I'd love to get some of those guys on here so we can really, talk about baseball in a complete sense. I'll work on Jim Riggleman maybe for our first one in a couple of weeks and
That'd
see
be
if we
great.
can go from there. He's this guy. I mean, you start talking to Jim Riggleman and you talk about, 40, 50 years of experience in baseball. He is the most knowledgeable guy I've ever been around when it comes to the X's and O's and in-game strategy. He's amazing. So I think everybody would love to hear from Jim.
I've heard
Riggleman.
nothing but good stories about Jim Riggleman. Yeah, I told you.
Oh, he's the best, man. He is the best.
I've always wanted to meet the guy. Now I have a chance to bring him on. Though
He's
that's
a
the one
great
thing.
guy.
Let me tell you something about the concept here with you and I doing this, okay? And I'll tell you why I really got the itch to do it, especially when you agreed to join the network. I have a football commentator named Bo Crouch who did the same thing, and I have a coach named John Bonamago. I think I mentioned this to you before. I'll mention it again. And he ended up, I couldn't get him on. I couldn't think of a way to get Coach Bono on because Bo's a lot more technically savvy as I am to do it during the day. But I said, well, yeah, go ahead, Coach. I'm sure he'd love to do it with you. And they respected each other, I thought. And it worked out well. Only thing with Coach Bono, though, is he ended up getting a job at the University of Tennessee working in their special teams, and he get paid a lot of money up in Tennessee. But it got me thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a page out of Bo's book. And I thought, you know what? Mickey Callaway's my guy. I knew right then and there, once you agreed to come on, because I needed you on that Monday show. You added a dimension that gives me so much peace of mind that I have my own manager that can hit you with these tough questions. You're going to just sit there and say, I can take it all night. And, our style dating back to when I was in St. Lucie, that I wasn't afraid. And you just stand there and handled all my questions is what you did. And answered them in a very dignified way is what you did. And that's how we built the friendship to where we are now that we're on the hook for 2 shows a week. So that's why I decided to do it. So after all I needed was 4 or 5 episodes to realize it's worth my production cost, and everything to start one or roll the dice on you. Oh, we're building something really good. And now obviously you're proving me right again. Okay. And you're going to continue to prove me right again, won't you? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm the pilot here. But yeah, no, so you bring on Riggleman. Text me the other ones here in a little while that you want to bring on, and that way I'll be able to. Yeah, I've always wanted to talk to Riggleman. And you're also going to text me your home address. I get your book and some business cards out hopefully by the beginning of the week.
Perfect.
But,
love it.
So whether it's coaches, whether it's players, I don't care. I want nothing but good baseball people on. And you just say, hey, I run a very easygoing ship. and we're going to have a lot of fun and talk baseball. I don't have to have 9 million topics. I could just sit here and take a show with just 2 or 3 guests, and that's it. And this show has no specific format except what we decide to do week in and week out. We have more
Yeah.
freedom here than we do on 108 Stitches that we have, and that's the biggest thing. So, all right, here's some. Can't wait to 186 baseball talk. We plug in afternoon. Don't worry, you'll be on 108 Stitches baseball talk. We have a really good show lined up. So, I'll tell you one thing about Rob Maraska and Chris Piazza. These two guys are thoroughbreds when it comes to New York sports, but these are becoming well-rounded baseball people as well. So, by all means, what I would encourage you to do, reach out to them, tell them that we're looking at the end of the month of our next episode, and then I'll put code words in there, Jim Riggleman, and I'll have different ways as we continue to build what we're looking to do, and we'll just sit here and have a blast. So this
Yeah,
format is
absolutely.
wide open. It's really
Yeah.
what it is.
Scott, when I was thinking through it earlier, I'd love to have some scouts on here too, some
Sure.
guys, so you can kind of see what, get that life of scouting kind of in the atmosphere for everybody, because what a lifestyle that is, and we can kind of dig and see what they're looking for and the experiences they've been through. Two names that come to mind are Eddie Bain and Jamie Bain. I'm really good friends with both of those guys. I'm sure everybody knows Eddie Bain, and Jamie Bain's been scouting for a long time. This is his son. Really good friend of mine. I played with him a little bit at the high school level on some of these Goodwill teams and area code games. So I think, getting some scouts on here and getting that perspective would be great as well.
Well, what have I told you? How many times have I told you? Is it my show, and who else's show is it? Who else's
Mine.
show is it?
That's right.
So, do you think I'd be dumb enough to not let you have your input by your people? Really? Seriously, really?
We'll
Do
get it
it.
done, man, for sure.
All you got to do is keep me posted who you want to bring on any show. And if it means that we have
Absolutely.
to, I mean, I've tried to get scouts on before. I once tried it at a minor league park, but one of the guys, I thought, see if he'd subscribe to the channel, bring him on, but they said something, and then he's changed his mind, and then the people at that minor league thought I was harassing them. It's like, you know what? I'm just trying. And I never went back to any more games in that particular place. It's like, you know what? We're trying to give you promotion. We spent money to come up here, and this is the kind of nonsense I had to deal with. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
But that was just an isolated situation. And sometimes when you go on the road and you go to specific ballparks, people give you a bad vibe. You don't want to go back. We're out here to give you free advertising, promote your brand, and you're going to sit here and take it in a idiotic way. No. But when I see there's a warm market attached with you and these particular individuals, so let's face the reality. One thing I can tell you about baseball, as we both know, is all compared to the other sports, I don't know whether it's hockey, basketball, or football, baseball is a big pond. You could go 3 or 4 or 5 years without seeing anybody, and all of a sudden you bump into it. It's like you've seen them. It was like yesterday. So
Yeah, no
baseball
doubt.
has a way with relationships like no other sport, Mickey, that makes it so interesting that we can bring these people on, and they're glad to give you their time. So
Yeah, I agree. It's a
Candy,
great sport.
so we're going to do all kinds of things. All we want to do, everybody, what your appetite about what I'm going to do and Mickey's going to do to make this show unquestionably a show you can't miss to get your Saturday morning started. Our plan is to make it a year-round show. I don't know if we're going to do it 4 times a month during the off season, but at least 2 times a month. We'll have to see. The topics are what they are. I never thought with 186 baseball talk we can make it year-round, but we're doing it. So I've seen crazier things happen. He's willing to come on as often as he wants. And yeah, we can make it. We'll do it as long as we want to do it. I have zero problem with that at all. I'm wearing this London shirt, everybody. You see the UK. Mickey and I were talking about it when I was overseas. I said, you know what? We're going to do your show, but we need to strengthen 108 Stitches. And you've been a man of your word when it comes to both. And now I'm the one that said, well, I'm going to make it happen too. Katie, please come up for one more station break. And then, Mickey, we're going to get you ready to roll on Monday night as well. Right? For a stack. He said, will George ever be on Cybrewski? You know what? It's possible if he wants to spend time on a Saturday. I'll have to ask him. But I think when George watches the tape of this particular show, and I want to reemphasize, that's a good point, though, Cybrewski. This show compared to 108 Stitches will be wide open. It's not going to be as structured as much. I could go in with 2 or 3, 4 topics, so we could kill an hour all day long. Great question, Cyberuski. It really is. I'll keep you posted. All right, Candy. One more station break.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by your host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and it talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how media coverage has changed. Go get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great other content. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified whenever we do go live. If you like baseball, obviously this is the show for you, but so is Monday nights, 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. If you prefer football, it's Tuesday nights on Inside the Pigskin, Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, and Thursday nights, respectively, on Fire Up. Wide open topics, you just never know. A lot of them have to do with sports, but then we even have some non-sports, so go check it out. Scott also does a one-on-one interview show called the Motor City Madmouth Show, and I will tell you all, watch for his show later this weekend. We will be posting it either later today or tomorrow. He interviewed the famous Bob Ryans. Awesome job, Scott, from the Boston Globe. That was a great interview. So you learn a ton about how media coverage has changed. They talk about his covering basketball and all kinds of other great topics. So you have to check that out when you get the chance. If you ever want to sponsor any of the shows, call Scott, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, maybe there's a topic you want Mickey and Scott to cover on this show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Great inaugural episode, guys. Great job.
You know, I have
Thanks,
to tell you
Candy.
something, man. Most of my inaugural episodes don't last more than 35 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, well,
Can you?
Scott, we could sit here for all day and talk if you wanted to. I love it. We can talk
Yeah.
baseball as much as you want, brother.
Let me tell you something. After the news I got from my doctor yesterday, and I was glad to get some good news for a change about my voice,
That's
man.
awesome. I
I
love it.
can
I
keep
love
this
it,
bad
Scott. I'm
boy
glad.
going. And I'm with you, brother. I mean, Mickey and I are like crazy brothers anyway.
That's right.
That was pretty good stuff. But, you
That
know,
was
we can
awesome.
talk baseball all day long, any day of the week. And that's what's so great about you, man. We can. Most of them, but I got to tell you, most of my inaugural episodes, 35, 40 minutes. You're pushing an hour, Callaway. You're doing really good, brother. I'm proud of you.
Perfect. We'll make this thing 3 or 4 hours long and Saturday mornings before too long.
Yeah, hey, listen, you got the time, I'll make the time. You don't have to worry
Let's do
about
it.
it. You and I told you when I brought you on board, I wasn't screwing around. I told you, you and I are going to make an incredible 1-2 punch. Again, I'll never say this enough times. Anyhow, the way you treated me in St. Lucie and the way I asked you questions, the
Good.
way you stood there and took them, and we built a friendship. Now this friendship, obviously, you don't forget people that made your life easier. And I told you I was going to give you a fresh start on my network, and you're taking full advantage of it, and I am proud as heck of you, Mr. Callaway.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Scott. This has been wonderful.
It is. Oh, we're just getting and the eyes of the legendary Karen Carper. But don't expect me to sing because you're going to have hearing issues. We've only just begun. That's all.
That's right. That's
We've only
right.
just go with this show. But meanwhile, great first act, Mick. We'll be ready to rock and roll Monday night. We have a really loaded show, but now you have it. This show is one of those shows here where we're talking baseball with Mickey Callaway and myself, Scott Morganroth, and we'll have other people on as guests. And before long, I expect this concept to definitely go ahead and catch on. He says Chris deserves another chance in MLB. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But when he goes to MLB, he's taking me with him because I'm going to handle all this PR, right, Mickey?
That's right. Let's do it. I'm ready.
No, he goes to MLB. I'm going with him. You know, I still feel like got a few years of. We're a tag team now, so he has to bring my name along, and when he does, and I'll handle all his PR. I'm doing his podcast and all that other stuff. So it's really great stuff, though, Chris. I'm glad he does deserve another chance. But it looks like he's pretty happy teaching as well. A lot of players generally tend when their careers are over, like to go into teaching as well. They can build on their name, and I know a bunch of people that are doing it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
He
It's
said,
it's very,
"Bring New
very
York,
gratifying.
bring New York MLB talk too." Yeah, of course, you guys are a big part of what we're doing, Chris and Rob. These guys, I can find a lot of people, a lot of different places, but I'm always looking for new talent. And uh, as I operate this whole thing, I'm only as good as what I have around me, and I think through before I make additions. And if I think they're going to be great with no maintenance, send the invite, they're on time, and they do what they got to do. That's how you're going to win me over, and a lot of people have. So, but meanwhile, Chris, I appreciate your contribution. Slaveruski was great. Everybody that appeared in the chat room was great. You know, it's a Saturday time frame, but this is a home for our show, talking baseball with Scott Morganroth and Mickey Callaway. I decided to just put you on as a lead dog today because I wanted your name to be front and center. Everybody knows who I am anyway, so it's just, but I don't know how everything will be in the title. Everything your name figures to be in, but we're also going to put other names too in order to make sure that other people. So when people are looking for it, so there are a lot of things that we'll work on when it comes to the logo and the titles to make sure that people are interested in what we have to say. I mean, it could be Jim Riggleman could be a name in the headline the next time. And I'll tell you something. Jim
Absolutely.
Riggleman is unquestionably one of the most respected baseball people in baseball. So I'm looking forward to be
No
able to
doubt
match
about it.
Winston's with Jim Riggleman and any of the other people. You just you keep them coming and you let them know we're here to have a good time and talk ball. All righty.
All right, brother.
So with
Well, I
that,
appreciate it, Scott.
that does it for this edition of baseball. Talking baseball. My name is Scott Morganroth. So on behalf of Mickey Callaway, thank you for joining us. We will see you on Monday night on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. Mickey and I will be doing this again in a few weeks. Stay tuned. Good night. Good afternoon, everybody. Have a great weekend. Talking baseball.